back to my channel. So today's episode is going to be all about post-surgery, and unfortunately today's video is going to wrap this series up for now. I'm sure there will be a lot more cleft related videos I can make in the near future, but for now this pretty much puts our journey at a halt because there is nothing really else that we can do for Jaxons Cleft right now, but I'm sure there will be more. So this video will be all about post-surgery and up until now pretty much. So let's get into it. So post-surgery was a rough, I'd say 2 weeks. It was a lot of fussiness, it was a lot of gentleness, and having a toddler with a baby that's just had surgery was one of the toughest things. If you have a toddler and a baby, I'm sure you are aware that toddlers absolutely adore babies. Well, majority does. In this case, Nevaeh adored her brother and she wanted to smother him 24/7. So trying to tell a toddler to be careful with their face, I suppose you've got to tell them that anyway, but just so she wasn't touching the stitches or whatnot, was a very difficult, and it is pretty much a blur, but I remember the first few weeks were a lot of fussiness. We had to reteach Jaxon how to swallow solids because the first few weeks we didn't give him any solids, and he was an absolute gun when it came to food, so having to reintroduce that made it a bit tricky, but we got there eventually and he absolutely loved his food. He still did up until like a few months ago when he became fussy again with his eating like every other toddler. But as each and every day went on, it seemed to get a lot easier. By day 3, I think it was, we weren't needing to give him Panadol for the pain. The pain had pretty much weared off. I remember a few days after Jaxon's surgery, it was the weekend and we had Nevaeh's birthday party and he was an absolute mess. He was so fussy. But overall he recovered amazing and really fast, and at our, I think it was 2-week post-op appointment, all the stitches were pretty much gone and his surgeon was amazed with the result. And then we pretty much didn't have to go back for another year. So it made that process very, very smooth and less stressful because not having to go back to the hospital for a year made it a lot easier. Breastfeeding actually went really well from the get-go. He was feeding normal, if not more. His latch was always perfect, so that wasn't an issue at all. And yeah, breastfeeding was just a breeze when it came to him. So we had no issues there whatsoever. I think the only issue we had was with me and the uncomfortableness of the stitches, but we got through that obviously. And his scarring now is amazing. The only time his scarring shows up is it's really cold and it goes a bit purplish like any other scarring would. Or when he's sick and that area just becomes a lot more inflamed because of snotty noses and whatnot. But other than that, his scarring is amazing. Didn't have to, so as I just said, we didn't have to go back to the hospital after that 2-week checkup for another year, which made it so much easier. And when we went back to that checkup, the surgeon was still amazed with his results. He did say though, when he is roughly 12 years old, he'll need a lip snip. So there's a little bit on his lip that is like excess skin. If you weren't paying much attention, well, I seem to forget and not realise sometimes. It is easy to not so much realise, but also at 12 years old he will need his bone graft. So that surgery will be just the one combined together, and for their bone graft they'll actually get some of their hip bone and place it up in the gum notch where there is an opening. At that 1 year appointment he did all the necessary checkups and he gave us the best information. He said we didn't need to return for another 2 years. So we're still in that 2-year gap where we haven't returned. Hence why I won't be able to add anything else on to this series, because there is no new information that we have received. The only slight issues we have realised is Jaxon's speech. It has improved a hell of a lot, but his speech is a tiny bit off, and it is something we're working on. And after all, he is only 2, so you can only expect so much from a 2-year-old to be able to pronounce and whatnot. So that is the only issue we've had, pretty much. That is pretty good considering how far he has come. I actually don't have much to add to this video because there was no major issues or whatnot, but I am going to leave this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. It will not be over just yet because he has a lot more ahead of him. So for now, this is the last episode. But stay tuned because I will still be uploading every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give a big thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.